Hello everyone, welcome to the U.S. Immigration Hub. Breaking news, U.S. estate. Across the United States, the path to citizenship has always symbolized the promise of belonging, a reward for years of dedication, contribution, and lawful presence. But in 2025, that path is taking a turn few expected. What once seemed like a straightforward process is now being reshaped by new policies, deeper scrutiny, and evolving expectations. For thousands of lawful permanent residents preparing for naturalization, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, or USCIS, is quietly tightening the lens through which every applicant is viewed. Welcome to the USA Immigration Hub, your trusted source for verified and in-depth updates on immigration policy and national affairs. Before we dive into this major development, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video so you never miss the most important updates that could directly impact your life, your family, and your future in the United States. Now let's get into today's top story. For decades, naturalization in America has rested on one foundational principle, demonstrating good moral character. It's been part of the Immigration and Nationality Act for generations. Meeting that requirement traditionally meant avoiding serious crimes, maintaining lawful status, paying taxes, and showing consistent residence. But as of August 15, 2025, a new USCIS policy memorandum is redefining what that really means. Under this new policy guidance, officers are being instructed to look beyond the basic checklist and take a totality of the circumstances approach. In simple terms, that means every part of your life, not just your record, can now influence your eligibility for U.S. citizenship. The line between approval and denial is still there, but the shape of that line is changing. Here's what's new. USCIS officers are now encouraged to evaluate both positive and negative indicators of character. Positive indicators include community service, caregiving responsibilities, volunteer work, financial responsibility, stable employment, and active family engagement. On the other hand, even minor issues like multiple traffic violations, tax inconsistencies, or long employment gaps can now weigh against an applicant even if no law was technically broken. According to the policy memo, lawful behavior that reflects a lifestyle inconsistent with civic responsibility can be considered evidence of poor moral character. That's a striking shift because it means that even technically legal actions might affect your naturalization chances if they don't align with what USCIS defines as the behavior of a responsible community member. Immigration attorneys across the country have already started seeing the impact. Applicants are facing deeper questioning, expanded document requests, and longer review times. Even where no statutory bar exists, such as criminal convictions or fraud, officers now have discretion to deny citizenship if they believe the applicant's overall conduct raises doubt. For example, multiple unpaid traffic tickets, unfiled taxes, or unresolved debt might not seem like major issues, but under the new framework, those patterns can be viewed as indicators of irresponsibility. Similarly, repeated DUIs or ongoing financial instability may now fall under a conditional bar, not automatic disqualification but grounds for denial if an officer deems them reflective of poor moral character. This change has left many lawful permanent residents anxious, especially those who have been waiting years to file their naturalization applications. The legal requirements remain the same: 5 years of continuous residence or 3 years if applying through marriage to a U.S. citizen. But what's changed is the standard of evaluation. If you're planning to apply this year, experts now recommend doing it sooner rather than later. Filing under the current interpretation could protect your application from stricter enforcement that might come later as USCIS formalizes these new standards into regulation. The earlier you file, the more likely your case will be reviewed under the existing somewhat less rigid criteria. Another area under review is the citizenship test itself. The current USCIS leadership has signaled an interest in strengthening the civics and English tests to ensure deeper understanding of U.S. history, government, and values. While no official regulation has been finalized, internal discussions suggest possible expansions, longer question sets, computer-based testing, and potentially a short written essay component to evaluate communication skills. If implemented, this could make the process significantly more challenging for applicants with limited English proficiency or test anxiety. That's why preparation is key. Start early, study regularly, and practice both reading and writing in English. Beyond testing and documentation, this evolving policy reflects a broader shift in national immigration priorities. Since early 2025, under renewed directives influenced by the Trump administration's ongoing stance on immigration integrity, USCIS has added accountability, contribution, and community alignment as part of its naturalization mission. This means the agency is focusing more on whether applicants embody the civic values of U.S. citizens, not just whether they meet the bare legal requirements. So, what can applicants do right now to strengthen their cases? First, ensure that your tax filings are fully up to date. USCIS officers can and often do request IRS transcripts, so missing returns or late payments could create complications. Second, review your driving record. If you have unresolved tickets or past DUIs, it's really important to consult with a qualified immigration attorney before filing. They can help determine if these issues could affect your eligibility and, how to mitigate them. Third, highlight your community contributions. Volunteer work, local involvement, caregiving for family members, or participation in civic organizations can all strengthen your file. Provide documentation, like letters of recommendation, certificates, or proof of service, to illustrate your positive impact. Fourth, maintain stable employment if possible. Long gaps in work history, especially without a clear explanation, might raise questions under the new standard. Demonstrating steady employment or education really helps establish reliability and responsibility. And finally, it's really important to prepare your narrative carefully. Officers are looking for the story behind your life in the United States, not just your paperwork. They want to see consistency, honesty, and a demonstrated commitment to American values. Immigration lawyers nationwide are urging applicants to treat this policy shift seriously. Even though it's technically guidance, not formal regulation, its effects are already being seen in interviews and decision trends. Cases that might have been approved last year are now facing delays or additional review, especially where there are lifestyle or conduct concerns. One immigration policy analyst based in Washington, D.C., described it this way: "We're seeing a tightening of the moral character interpretation, with more weight placed on who the person is beyond their legal history. It's a cultural vetting, not just a legal one." That cultural vetting is what's making the 2025 naturalization landscape more complex than ever. For many, the safest path forward is immediate preparation and proactive application. If you've already completed your residency requirement and meet the basic qualifications, applying now may give you a strategic advantage before any formal rule changes take effect. For others who need time, perhaps due to unresolved tax issues or pending documentation, this is the moment to get organized, clean your record, gather evidence of positive community engagement, and work with a trusted immigration attorney who understands the nuances of this evolving policy environment. It's also critical to recognize the symbolic importance of this shift. Naturalization isn't just a legal milestone anymore, it's increasingly a reflection of how the U.S. government views integration, contribution, and accountability. The process is becoming not just a test of eligibility, but of alignment with American civic values. At USA State, we believe staying informed is the first step toward empowerment. Our mission is to bring you clear, factual, and timely updates on every major immigration development that could impact your life. If you're in the process of applying for U.S. citizenship or even just thinking about it, this is your time to act. Start preparing, start documenting, and stay alert for upcoming announcements from USCIS in the weeks and months ahead. We'll continue to monitor all official releases, including any updates on the naturalization test, revised adjudication manuals, and, of course, additional USCIS memos. Remember, Preparation and awareness can make all the difference. U.S. citizenship remains within reach, but it now demands a higher level of readiness, responsibility, and personal accountability. If you found this report helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the USA Immigration Hub, and share this video so others can stay informed. Your support helps us continue delivering professional, unbiased coverage of the policies shaping America today. Thank you for watching USA Immigration Hub. See you in the next video.